Welcome to another Friday Functions video. I am so excited today to share something brand new with you. Yep, I'm giving you a sneak peek to something that will formally be announced on Monday. And so this is all about being able to make SQL attachments. Is this not awesome? We are now able to attach files and documents to our SQL database. Now, you're going to hear about this in the product blog on PowerApps.Microsoft.com on Monday, but I'm giving you a foreshadow of it in this app that I've built today. Now, my business app today is actually a Contoso media bank. So imagine a company, they've got people out there talking about them every now and then, and they need a way to share images with that company. But they want to kind of look at the images and approve the images, and they might even have them shot and staged, particularly for Contoso. So this app is a place where the consumers of that company can come in and view the images that are available from Contoso for their PowerPoint presentations or their newsletters or their email announcements. They can go and get these pictures and use them. Okay, now I do plan to extend this to include a page for Contoso marketing presentations, where they'll be able to get PPT files that are blessed by their company and get those as well, because this new feature works with every kind of file. There's really no limitation. So I've already tested it. It works well with photos, PDFs, and our typical documents, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. It's just that for today, I didn't have a lot of time. I put this app together this morning, and I think it could demonstrate the features and the functions involved. So let me show you how the app works. It's a two-screen app for all conducive purposes, for the consumer's point of view. I'll show you some other pages in the app when we dig in. So when they load the app, the first thing they see is basically all the pictures that were uploaded to the SQL database that they may use, okay? On the left side there, I'm using that very thin, tall area on the left to give them information. On the home page, you can imagine what it might say to encourage them to use these photos and not go to like a Bing or a Google and get photos that might be under some type of privacy or rights management scenario. They'd rather them use the pictures that the company has put together for that purpose. So you could imagine what the text might say. I have it in Latin today because, again, we just did this morning and we didn't want to spend a lot of time on it. But that's what it would say on the left. I always try to have some kind of contextual help for the people using my apps. And then at the top of the screen, we've got some action items like refresh the data, which will reconnect to SQL. So that's kind of helpful. Let's suppose you walk away for a while. It's possible people have uploaded since you left. And so you could refresh the data and freshen your connection so that you can see anything new that got added while you walked away, things like that. And then add photo is has an on-select property that basically enables them to add a new photo. And when I configure these, by the way, I usually configure them so it's the icon and the text that have an on-select property, just because some people might not click on the icon. So it's just a little secret about the way I do this. It takes them into a simple form, and this is just a form connected to that SQL database. Notice up here I have a save icon I didn't have on the first page. That will help me save this, but it's gray right now. So watch when I add a file name. Let's do this one. Okay. And I'm using ping files for this business scenario, but this icon would work on any type of file. I'm actually going to go into working, and I'm going to just filter for my ping files. Again, you can see that it lets me upload any kind of image. This is just the add picture control, by the way. Nothing fancy. I didn't do any special coding of this. I just chose the add picture control, and it's perfect for what I need here. And now I'm looking for a picture of the devices, which I thought I had. in this folder, and if I don't, I'll pick something else. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. I see it. I wanted this folder, this picture. Okay, now I can keep pressing change and keep picking a different picture, right? So until I'm happy with the picture, right? So I can just keep changing it. In this case, I am happy with the picture and I'm done, right? So over here, there's nothing. And that's because I just didn't take the time to put something. But I probably would, again, thinking about contextual information. On this side, I might give them information about the upload constraints. Like, try not to give us 10,000 megabyte images. You know, try not to give us anything but PNG and JPEG. Don't give us TIFF. You know, so whatever might help them as they have this task of uploading photos, to upload what is correct, I might put that in the left navigation. Okay? Notice that my save icon turned red, and I set it to turn red as soon as this picture exists to draw their attention to that icon so that they would know where to save. Okay, if they click save, now that picture is going to be added to the SQL database, and it will therefore show up in the navigation of the first page. And you'll notice that this page will scroll. So if I have more than 8 images, we'll have a scroll bar on the right. So if this was a real application for a real company, I would probably add a filter somewhere in this app as well, so that I could filter these images maybe by category or by product, so I don't have to do as much scrolling. Okay? Now, in addition to adding photos, I have it so that the admin can edit them. Now, right now, these 3 dots, which I call the more information dots, they are visible to everybody. But again, if it was a real app, I might restrict that to be seen only by the admins. But I'm going to click on that, and this brings me into the same exact screen I was in before, only the form has been placed in edit mode, and the item property of this form is the selected gallery item from screen 1. This enables people to edit this. Now, in the left margin, I show them the image that is in SQL, which means that even if they go in here and they pick a different image, the image in the middle of the screen is what they're choosing, but they can continuously see what is in SQL. If they cancel, they decide not to use any of this, they can go back and return to the main and not do anything, okay? Or they can change the picture and it will change when I save. Now, since that works just like the new form as far as the saving goes, I want to show you that they also have the right to delete this record, right? If they tap that icon, I have a little message that pops up. Are you sure you want to delete this record? Because this can't be undone. If they hit cancel, it just takes them back where they were. Nothing has happened. However, if they hit yes, it will actually remove that entire record from the SQL database, and we're back to having only 8 images available. All right? So you have add, edit, and delete all there together, as well as, add is create. Create, read, or delete is all managed there, right? And update as well, because I can change the file names. Now, the very last thing I added was the ability to send it to me. So I didn't want to have to worry about downloads and things like that. So actually what I've used is the Office 365 Outlook connector to enable them to send the image to themselves. So basically they click on that icon, and what it does is it goes and it emails them an email with an attachment. And so they can do that as many times as they want. And I don't know, let's see. I don't know what my email looks like. Oh, it's not open. But give it a try. You'll see the function. What it does is it sends you an email with an attachment, which is the actual photo, the .png. Again, if this was maybe an enterprise app, I might have choices as to what size photo you want, things like that, depending on what's in my media bank, right? In this case, I only have 1 photo, so that's all you're going to get. And that's what they get when they look at their email attachment, all right? So that's the app that I made this morning, and it kind of demonstrates how we can add images to SQL, edit images in SQL, and delete images in SQL now thanks to this brand new feature released. I'm so excited. So let's take a closer look into how this app is built. And I'm going to start by kind of reviewing the functions big, so you can see them big in PowerPoint. So let's go back to PowerPoint. Just to review the home screen first. The top of the screen is where I kind of put all my I guess actionables, right? I don't know how you want to call it. Actionables that apply to everything or to the page or to the app. I have a refresh data. Now I will use refresh. The refresh function is a function that you're getting as the first function for today, the refresh function. You can just put in parentheses the name of the data source. And what this does is refreshes that connection. Now it's possible I walk away from my screen and maybe people added photos where I was gone. Maybe we're having a mass photo revision day. And so I can click that refresh button and see what was added new while I was gone, right? The add photo button is up here to do two things. It navigates to the edit screen where we make the changes or add a new photo. But more importantly, it has to start by putting the form, which is called Form CRUD, in new form mode. That's very important because when you add a form to the screen, and that's all I did was insert a form control, when you add it, it defaults to edit mode, right? Or edit, into edit mode. And in edit mode, it needs an item property, right? Which is in this case, and in most cases, it's the selection from the gallery that preceded looking at that form. So in this case, I think I have this called gallery photos or something like that. And what that new form item, the item property says gallery photo dot selected, right? But when you navigate to a new form, it ignores that item property and just shows you a blank form. This is a really important thing to remember if you work with forms a lot, okay? So the new form function gets it into new form mode, taking it out of edit mode, okay? And then you navigate to that screen. The send photo button, the little email icon there, is using our Office 365 Outlook connection. And it has three major properties and then the attachment. So it starts out with the name of the connector, which is Office 365 dot, and then the method is send email. Once you hit the dot, you'll have some choices. Pick send email. And then the first thing it wants to know is to whom. And so I chose the easy way out. I just said, look at the person looking at the screen and send it to their email address, right? I didn't want to ask any questions. Again, this was a fast, rapid build. I just wanted to just give it to the person that clicked on that button. And so it's going to send it to their email address. The second thing it wants to know is what is the subject line? And I actually made a mistake here because I put Media Bank Photo and the item file name. So it's looking at this gallery here of all the photos, and it's returning the file name for that item, the item they clicked on. But I forgot to put a space after the O in photo. I should have put a space or a semicolon and a space or something, because otherwise what's going to happen is the file name is going to come slammed up against the last O in photo with no space. So you want to think about that when you're doing any string concatenation, I think that's called. And you do that with just an and sign. I can keep doing and all day and build a string for the subject line. Same thing for the body. It's just a string. I chose to keep it simple, so I did requested photo attached. And then I opened a squiggly, which gives you additional parameters. And what I wanted in that squiggly is the attachment. And basically you write it just like this. What it needs is the name of the file. So since that's part of this gallery item, I could just do this item dot file name. And then the second one I have to specify is the content bytes, which is, I guess in layman's terms, where is this thing? Where can I find this file? And that's in a property in SQL called this item.blob column, right? It has the path to the file. And then finally, the OData type is just set to nothing, to no, right? And that actually will send an email to the user with the subject line of Media Bank Photo and the file name, with a body of requested photo attached, and the image will be attached to that email in the format that it's found in SQL. In this case, it's a ping file, okay? And that's how easy that is. You have to try it. It's really cool. Then more dots. These little more dots here, I just have them navigating to the edit screen. Now, the reason I only have to navigate here, I don't have to change the form mode or anything, is because when I add a form control to my screen, it is automatically in edit mode. So there's no reason to change the mode, right? I do need, though, when I add that form control, I need to remember to set the item property to the gallery. And I'll show you that first. We'll look at this in the app as well as soon as we get to the app. All right. And then our connections that we have is the database table itself. And you know that, I don't know if you heard, but we've released the ability to add SQL views to your documents as well. Even though the view is read-only, you can definitely use your formulas to go update the table based on a view shown in your gallery. Kind of cool, right? I also needed to add the Office 365 Outlook connector, not the Office 365 users, but the Office 365 Outlook connector in order to send that email. Okay, so that's the first screen. Pretty straightforward, right? I don't think we don't have very many. We have 4 formulas run this page, basically. Second page, less formulas, just a few, right? So I didn't tell you about the formula for return to main, which is this home formula right here. So let me just, right here, I have return to main right here. That is just navigate back to the main screen. I think you guys know how to do that, so that was just too easy to talk about. We've already talked about refresh data, but I have a save media. Now, since this is a edit form right here, this is a form in edit mode at this time because I'm looking at the edit form. Any changes that I make, whether I make it to the file name or to the image itself, need to be saved. And so that is actually 4 lines of formula here, but 2 of them are optional. So I did submit form, which is actually going to submit the form. It's just a submit form is the function name, and you fill in the parentheses with the name of the form. I named this form form CRUD. Then I reset the form, right? Then I refresh the database. This is one thing that's optional. And then I navigated to the main screen. And this is another thing that's optional. And I'll actually say that the place that really belongs, I put it both in save and both in delete. But where it really belongs is in the on success property of the form. So if the form succeeds in submission, then it should be told to navigate back. If it doesn't, it shouldn't, which gives you like a place to put your error message, or at least gives you a red flag at the very least. All right. And then on the screen itself, I have the form control with a single column. And I didn't do anything. I just added the form control. Seriously, I'll show you this. It's so easy. And I didn't have to do any magic to get this add picture control right here to work. It just works, right? I think the only thing I did is do an if statement on the text. So if it's new, it says add, tap or click to add a new picture. But if it's edit, it says tap or click to replace the picture. So, and that was totally optional. That was just me having fun. Over here on the left, I show them an image of what's in the database. So they may click on change the picture, which means that this will always show, this one will always show what they've last selected. Like, okay, they go and they click add a picture. It opens up that file explorer. They click a file. This will show that picture, but this one over here always shows you what's in SQL now before you press save. In case you decide to cancel and go back out, you can always validate what is already in SQL. And then over here, I have the delete record code here, which basically is very similar. I could have done it in the same order. You notice I have it backwards here. I definitely could have done them in the same order. I submit first, then I reset, then I refresh, and then I navigate to the main screen. Okay, same story as save as far as what comes after submission. And that is wrong. So I have to edit this for you. For some reason, when I change this one is changing when I'm working in PowerPoint. And I think I just might have something weird going on. But I will put the delete record function over here, and we'll look at it in the app. It's actually remove, and you have to remove the item. So I will show you that, even though it's wrong right here. So let's just go ahead and mark that wrong, because it's not submit, it's remove. Okay, and I'll show you that in the app. A little bit of a typo. Okay, then you can see that in the new form screen down here on the bottom, you've got this new form screen. It has the form in display mode is new, and it's new because when we navigated to this page from the previous screen, remember, we actually set it to new form mode right there. And that's why when you navigate to it, it turns itself into new form mode. At that point, the form is blank, and people can go ahead and add another image. Again, I left this side blank just for my app this morning, but I definitely would use that side to give the user tips on what file size they should be uploading, what type of files they should be uploading, and any other corporate policies that might imply that they do something special when they add a picture. All right, and that's it, guys. That's the 2 pages of my app. Let's go look at this closely in the app itself. So the first thing I wanted to show you is the whole edit form situation. So I'm going to go to the edit photo page and click on the form control. So this is just the form control. I just want to show you, if I click here and put a edit form on this screen and then connect it to that database, there's really nothing I have to do except click these 2 fields to get exactly what we were just doing to work. I think I'll change the snap to or the wrap to 1 so that they're one on top of the other. I'm also going to put a fill on this that's white so you can see. That automatically worked. There was nothing for me to do. The only thing I did do, guys, is I changed the little file, the names. So I unlocked and made the names more user-friendly. But it's not like you have to do any rocket science. That picture control automatically comes through because we're talking about a control that's managing media in SQL. So it's just going to come through as a picture control. Nothing I have to be smart enough to know how to do. All right. Also, this is in edit mode right now. But if I click on this form control and I look over here, you'll see that the default mode is edit. However, when I go from the main screen and I click add photo, I'm going to stop it. I didn't refresh the page. I'm so sorry. Now this form, if I click on it, is in new form mode. Okay, so you want to be aware that because I navigated to it, it's going to ignore the default mode and it's going to go into new default mode. And I'll just kind of show you what happened is why that picture is being kept. So, and that's why you saw in the PowerPoint that when I edit something in some way, right? When I edit something in any way, what I like to do is in the save action, I like to go ahead and say reset the form, right? So if I save, and it automatically resets the form so that the next time we go into that page, whether we do a new form or an edit form, right, the form is reset. We don't have that situation that you just saw, right? So you want to make sure you put that anywhere that they might browse back. Apparently I missed one possibility as to where they might browse back to the page and I've not reset the form. And in some cases, maybe you don't want to reset the form, right? Maybe you want to not clear their form in case they're just going back to go look at something. But in this case, I always want to reset the form after they finish working in that screen. So that was one thing I wanted to show you. This guy right here is just a gallery. You notice it has a wrap count of 4 and a template size of 250 and a padding of 15. So if I do a new screen here and I just pick a scrollable, I'm just going to pick a scrollable one. So I have the list screen. I can go ahead and attach this to my database. I don't actually need any text on here. I'm actually going to take the wrap of this and make it 4. The template size I'm going to make 250 like the other one. The template padding, I'm going to make 10 like the other one, which I think it was 10 or 15. Let's make it 15. That just gives you space. Okay, so I'm going to move that up, make this gray, and then change the template fill to white, and then you can see the space in between. All right, I don't really need this at all. I can go ahead and make this fill this space by giving it the width of, so the width of the template. So this is gallery list, so template, because I used the template from adding a new screen. Template width, and that gives me the width of my image. I filled up most of the screen, and then I changed the image position to full, which gave me the whole thing, right? Now, I forgot, did I already, don't remember. I'll make this a little bit smaller so to take up so much space. I don't remember, I didn't add so let me add the data. Okay, and now on my image, this will be the blob column, and it kind of picks it up by default because I picked the template with image. So it's just the blob column from my SQL. And then I think I put the more here, which is just those 3 dots, right? We have a lot of new icons. I don't know if you guys are paying attention that we're adding icons every now and then, but the more icons here would navigate to the edit page, right? I would just use action and navigate, and then choose the page I want to navigate to, in this case, edit photo. So that's all I did to make those cards. Those cards looked pretty fancy to you, right? But that's so easy to do. So I think you got the idea. Leave a message in the description area if you have more questions. And don't forget to read the blog from Evan on Monday. And don't tell anybody I told you this in advance, okay? It's a secret between you and I. I hope you enjoy your weekend and that you will continue enjoying making great Power Apps with all the new features that we're releasing and have planned for you. You're going to love 2018 because we've got so much planned for you. It's hard for me to keep the secrets. You have a great weekend. Happy Power Apping.